is like if you can really be the lowest risk, highest return option, then, people will get it. The experts in that industry will get it and they will sign up.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us and welcome to the Founders in LA podcast. I'm your host Ethan Cole, and this is an opportunity to shine the spotlight through a product lens on some of the exceptional founders we have as part of the LA community in an unedited, one-take organic conversation. With us today in the studio is Rachael Nelson. Thanks so much for coming down, Rachael.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, this is going to be a great one, but first, a word from our sponsors. Founders in LA is brought to you by Distillery. Based right here in Los Angeles, Distillery specializes in software development and staff augmentation and has supported the LA startup community since 2012. Trusted by local favorites like Dollar Shave Club, Thrive Market, and Tala, Distillery connects you with skilled developers who seamlessly integrate into your team to help move projects forward or create teams to build products along with you. Visit www.distillery.com to learn more about how Distillery can support your growth. That's www.distillery.com. We're also brought to you by United Club. United Club is a co-working space that sets itself apart. With locations in El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, and Hermosa, United is where creativity flourishes. Unlike traditional offices, they provide an inspiring environment where ideas can thrive and businesses can grow. With United, there's no hidden fees, flexible terms, options for dedicated offices, and unlimited access to conference rooms, a photo studio, this podcast studio, plus standard 3D printers and 24/7 access at any of their locations. They're local champions who support neighborhood businesses, open their event spaces to nonprofits, and celebrate art, music, and culture. Join United Club and experience co-working like never before. Learn more at www.unita.club. That's www.unita.club. Our guest today is Rachael Nelson. She's the co-founder and CEO of Brandy. And Rachael, can you just give us a 30-second description of Brandy?
Sure. It's a really simple product. It's an app that helps every consumer on the planet make meaningful money by sharing their favorite brands with family and friends. So there's no need to create content or amass a large following. This is really meant to, democratize influence, bring it down to the everyday person, so they can participate and get paid for doing the thing that they're already doing in real life, which is just organically sharing brands. And brands really love us because they only pay on the paid conversion event on their site. And it's really easy for them to get started. There's no fees. There's no fee for visibility on the platform. And they get to choose what they pay out to the platform, which, effectively they're setting their own CAC. So it's great to even get the little guys up and running. And that's our goal, is to help everybody with growth, help everybody afford the reach to convert their audiences.
Wow. So it's kind of like, micro-influencing on steroids, right? So it's instead of taking a micro-influencer who may have 1,000 or 10,000 followers, you're bringing it down to kind of the household level, saying, hey, you're already like using these products and just sharing with your friends anyway. It's almost like an affiliate partnership on, the person next door level, right?
Exactly. It is affiliate revenue model. And, we won't ever use the word influencer, affiliate, partnership, publisher on the platform, being really careful not to, have any like cringe words, but also not have anything too businessy, because this is really meant for someone who, isn't, you don't have to worry about sharing links. It's a place that you can go when you are interested in buying something for like home decor or fashion. You have a friend that you follow who is that go-to person, or maybe it's your mom, or maybe it's your grandma. It's simple enough that even my grandma, who's 92, actually can understand and use that on her iPhone. And so it's the most simple form of affiliate marketing that could possibly be produced, in my opinion. And I'm amazed it doesn't exist yet, but we're doing it for the first time.
Wow. Okay. And can you tell me a little bit more from like kind of the customer perspective? So I go on, I join Brandy, and then what happens next? How do I let folks know, what I buy, and how do I monetize the things I'm already doing? Which, again, one of the hardest things to do in any product is to get someone to change their behavior. Some of the most successful products are the ones that look at what you're already doing and add on to that already existing behavior. It'll help you, easily monetize or facilitate that thing you're already doing. So I love that you're not saying, hey, go do something else, go find 10,000 followers. You're like, hey, you're already using, Dove soap, just kind of like let folks know. So like, all right, so I go out and buy Dove soap. How will that work?
Yeah, so traditionally we're targeting brands that are very impactful, and maybe, they are a household name or aren't a household name, but there's certainly room to create growth for them through the referral process. So on the consumer side, it's very easy to sign up. It only takes a couple of clicks, standard auth forms. You're in the app able to look for a brand that you organically are really interested in. Let's say it's Olipop or it's laundry sauce, and you go and look them up on the platform, or maybe you found them by way of a QR code that your friend shared from the app. We make it really easy to do that. And you click endorse, and then you see a screen that says, personalize your endorsement. We do encourage a one-liner endorsement, like, oh my gosh, I'm addicted to Olipop, but I don't feel bad about it. And then you click submit. Once you do that, their logo is beamed to your personal profile within the app, which is very, very minimalistic. It just has your profile photo, a little summary of like what you buy, home decor, dog stuff, fun CPG snacks, etc. And you'd see that logo show up in the respective category in your profile. So if a friend is following you, they'll be able to go to that profile, click on that brand logo, be taken to their page, which is, again, another pretty minimal looking page that just summarizes the brand, shows the top 3 products that we pull in from their Shopify merchant feed, or if it's not a Shopify type of site, we can also bring in, like the first 3 photos from like the App Store, et cetera, that describes the product. We're very clear and transparent about what the average order value for that brand is, what the payout is, so they can understand what they would be paid by sharing that brand. And when that referred friend goes and shops the site after visiting your profile, we don't trap them in the app. They are able to go directly to that brand site. Then they make their first purchase, and only on that first purchase we will pay that endorsing consumer, or the friend who's responsible for the referral, and we do that every month. So it's a regular payout schedule, regular billing schedule for brands, and then the consumer gets paid a couple weeks later. So it's a very easy, automated end-to-end, and something that's really meant to work like magic. So nobody has to think about chasing down checks or connecting with brands. It's all there.
Oh, wow. And so it just makes me think of like kind of tsunami of marketing we're about to have, because generative AI has made the ability to generate really bad content really easily, awareness and really it is really awareness of new brands is going to become more difficult through time. And so through Brandy, you're finding new avenues to bring awareness to things that may not be dominating the airwaves right now, but are high quality and things you might actually be interested in.
Exactly, yeah, and I think what's special about it is, you're not inferring the user's demographics from the content that they're reading, their IP address for the household, etc. Now we can allow consumers to self-identify with their own psychographics, and through word of mouth marketing, which is responsible for over 90% of all purchases, it's said, able to actually get the right brands to the right friends. And that's really important, because the more alignment that a brand has with their consumer who's shopping, the less waste that is produced. There's so many positives that come out of it.
How did you find yourself building out Brandy? Like, was this something that you had been thinking of for years, or like what was the inception point? Where did it first come from, and then what made you decide like, hey, this is really something, I'm going to go out and do it?
Yeah, I mean, so we incorporated in 2023, but it's an idea that I've had since I was working back in aerospace manufacturing 10 years ago, and I was one of 200 male engineers. And something I would observe when I was in the office, we all kind of wore the same thing, like nice kind of like white collar clothes. One guy would get like new Sperry topsiders or get some new workout equipment over the weekend and tell his friends about it, and then they would go out and buy it. And I realized that we all kind of shop the same way, regardless of how you classify yourself as a shopper or, parent, mom, dad, woman, man, what have you. It's all word of mouth at the end of the day. And a lot of times we're buying those same things, even cars, that the people within our inner circles are shopping. And so really it took a long time to think about what the right form factor of this would be. And when I started working on it, there weren't, as many apps as there are today. And I learned how to code. I ended up working for a fintech company and building out the Points Guy app. I guess it's had many forms, but this was quite a while back. So I got a lot of fintech experience, a lot of consumer experience. On the dev side, worked in e-commerce as a product leader, and then decided it's time to leave working a full-time job and do this full time, because we were literally getting pulled into the market. I would match with someone on LinkedIn or Twitter, and they would send me a message, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this, like I've looked at 8,000 of these things, and like this is the solution that we've been looking for. We'll build you a page, we'll put your sticker in our like marketing emails. And so we're going into our beta, and there's a lot of excited, very big brands, but also like little brands that have a strong presence, a strong sense of their core mission and their core audience, and a really strong product and brand, and they're coming to the table as well. So I'm really excited that we actually get to measure that growth for all different types of businesses and of all sizes. And we're going into our first raise, have bootstrapped up until this point, and now it's go time.
That's great. And we've heard this before from some of the other founders, where sometimes it feels like you get pulled into it, that you have an idea, and that doesn't happen for all ideas, but in many ways the universe kind of like points you in a direction. It's like, hey, here's kind of the path you really should be taking. It may not be the thing you're currently doing, and then sometimes it pulls you in. I believe it was the CEO of Parent Cubby was one of the folks who talked about that before on the show. Can you tell us about what it was like to get that first customer? So now you work for the Points Guy, and I'm trying to put my finger on exactly why that feels like that fits so nicely. I think because it's kind of maybe the same genre, where it's people who are are doing their normal behaviors, and they're somehow monetizing a piece of their life that they weren't before. So they're traveling, and all of a sudden these points turn into the different ways that you can spend rewards.
And you're earning back your own money, which is that was kind of an eye-opener to me working in that space, because I love fintech. I love the rigor of working with those APIs and the challenge of like trying to reach perfection, because with a fintech product you have to build such an enormous amount of trust with the end consumer. And even then they don't really, I've watched a lot of those UX interviews, they don't trust a fintech product, but they want so badly to create a little extra money for themselves. And in the credit card reward space, we're looking at the average credit card reward earner taking in like $150 to like $500 back on their own spend. And then there's of course like the deals categories of fintech products, which are discounting brands typically against their will. That's not really how brands want to get their first customers in, because they're essentially teaching those customers that they cost less than they actually do. And so it puts them in a bit of a pickle with retention. So that's another thing that, we had to be really mindful of. And that came through a lot of working with amazing technical marketers and interviewing, CMOs at top companies, like cold outreach, and just asking them and bringing on an advisor who did sales at Google and other places, who really understood and taught me what it was to be a low risk product, which is really the key to unlocking, I think, being pulled into the market, is like if you can really be the lowest risk, highest return option, then people will get it. The experts in that industry will get it, and they will sign up.
Can you talk to us more about the low risk, and like how do you use that in your conversations with potential customers?
Really, I think spelling it all out for them, or the top 3 bullet points, like echoing back their pain points immediately in that cold outreach call, because it's like, or in the message, the email, a tweet, whatever it is. I interact with people a lot on Twitter, and I really prefer that audience. But yeah, to be low risk, you really have to look at what options are available on the market currently, and like make a feature list and go through every single one of those and start talking to people about those different features. Listen to what they're organically talking about on the web. A big one for us was, a lot of people were talking about influencer tools and how difficult it was to actually like track conversion rate, and then, pay these influencers like with physical paper checks. And the influencers were saying the same thing. I interviewed a lot of influencers as well, and how difficult it was to get paid. And so I think you have to really like spend a lot of time. And I really don't think you have to go to so many people. It's not like hundreds of people. I think, if you really get, 20 conversations going with some really quality people who have a lot of years of experience in that field, or have really had to hustle and like make their own business out of, that niche that you're dipping into, then you can start there and start iterating. And the goal, I think, also with trying to be the lowest risk also means being the least greedy, and remembering that. And I think that that's where a lot of startups who are trying to achieve product market fit, might go wrong, is they think, oh, but this client will pay this, or they're really desperate for this, so we'll charge a little bit more and charge a little bit more. And it's always, I think it's a balance. Of course, you have to charge enough to where you're, going to bring in the right unit economics for your product as well, but just remembering not to get greedy.
It sounds like there's been a lot of learnings since you got started. Can you talk to us about an example of, what have you learned along, like where have you made, not a pivot, but like necessarily a change? Like how have you changed maybe strategy in terms of how you're reaching out to folks, or how you decided to, build the team? Like what's the biggest change that you've seen biggest learning from, I'm going to quit my job and start this thing, to, here we are on the verge of going out for a raise?
Yeah, man, I've learned so much. I mean, I think you have to try a lot of things and talk to people, and it's extremely awkward because you don't know the answer until you feel that pain of getting it wrong or not getting a response. Like, obviously, if you don't get a response, you need to iterate. Maybe you're just saying too much and it's like too much for them to digest. I think that's like the easiest mistake to make, is saying too much all at once and not breaking it down really, really simple, because you always have to appeal to any person that you're talking to, their own objective that they're trying to achieve. So I think that's like the first one. I've definitely built an MVP product did it bootstrapped. We built it really fast. This was with previous help that I was getting, and I think it's really easy as someone who's leading a team to want to incorporate everybody's ideas and want to make them feel heard. And the scary part of that also is you can start to appeal to people getting pulled into like shiny object syndrome, like the Web3, the AI. If you're not gonna make money off of that immediately with test customer zero, then that is not the major talking point of your product. And there's certainly ways to watch what the market is doing and watch what people are flocking to and prepare for the day when it is essential for those features to be incorporated into your product in order to be essential and relevant to your community. But I think like a lot of founder desperation can lead into paying a little too close attention to like where investor dollars are going, fund wise, and AI funds, and there are a lot of funds out there. There's a lot of investors needing deal flow out there, and you kind of have to just like tap into the core of what is the mission that you're doing. And a lot of people have told me, so many people have told me, that's really cool. Why do you want to do that at like the nano influence level? Why don't you just make this thing automated specifically for influencers? Because everyone just wants to appeal to this mass popularity. But at the end of the day, like my core goal as a founder, as a person who's made this my life's work, is I want to add billions to the economy, to consumers who need passive income, who need to feed their kids, buy Christmas presents. They want the new iPhone. They want a cool new pair of sneakers or what have you. And there's like so much joy that we get out of, the things that we buy when they're the right things that we buy. And all of the ethics of like where ad spend goes and, who it should be for. And, just continuing to tap into that mission every single day.
Wow, and that's so helpful. A lot of people in our audience are starting to build, and so it's fantastic when folks like you are willing to share. And so thank you so much for that. What's on tap for Brandy next? So funding round in terms from like the product or the features. Is there what do you guys are looking at? What are you staring down?
Simultaneously raising our first round, and while also building. And going into releasing our beta test with some big brands and with our beta testers. And so that's really just making sure that we've fine-tuned the product enough where we can operate it at a fully automated, scale for the masses, and also take in that data from our beta test and take that to, major online publications to tell our story, to bring in organic signups. So really what we're driving people towards right now is signing up as consumers, as users who want to make money by sharing their favorite brands. Our goal is to get everyone to $150 to $500 in passive income every month, just with a couple of friends, which is actually quite doable. Most people who sign up tell us that they are helping their friends purchase anywhere from $150 to $10,000 in product a month. You can imagine if one friend buys a Peloton bike, which we don't have Peloton on the platform, that would be awesome. But you can imagine, the earnings from that when the payout to that endorsing consumer is anywhere from like 15 to 100% of that first purchase. So yeah, we're looking for consumer signups. We're looking for really interesting brands. We've had a lot of great luck reaching out to the brands that our beta tester signups have actually requested in the sign-up flow. So we're just rolling, trying to tie all that up and get it out there.
I love it, and I feel like there's kind of the zeitgeist, this idea of how can you make more passive income? And so I think that's definitely a hook that you can tie into, especially if you're just like, hey, you guys are already buying the things anyway. You can get passive income if we just do it through this one manner. I can see that really catching fire. So
Yeah, the
thanks
non-side hustle.
Yeah, right. Yeah, non-side, just doing your daily thing. Really the passive income. We love to ground the show in Los Angeles. Do you have, what's your most LA moment? It can be tech related, doesn't have to be, but keeping it in the LA community.
Oh man, I've had so many. Every moment is so LA in LA. Even just getting here, I think. I think one thing I will say about anyone who is building, I think what was particularly impactful for me was making the decision to move to Venice. And I really felt this pull to be around founders who had a lot of momentum and were very serious about raising, building, not trying to raise, not trying to build, but actually doing the thing, and putting a lot on hold to be in Venice, which is like it's a gritty place to live. And being in that, I think it was so funny. Like I moved the first day that I moved into my place, I walked out the door and met like the neighborhood ceramicist who introduced me to two startup founders who were walking by, and we like gave a pitch and heard a pitch, so it was just kind of this funny exchange, and like exactly what I came to Venice to do.
Amazing. Yeah, the heart of Silicon Beach. That's a great. I love the ceramicist as the one who's introducing.
I know.
That's
who has millions of Instagram followers as well, which is so funny. It's from around the corner. Yeah. That's
like the most Venice thing. Yeah, definitely part of the most LA thing.
I know.
That's amazing. Well, thank you again, Rachael, for sharing with us. It's been really helpful, really amazing to hear how you're building. And where can people find Brandy?
People can find us at It's Brandy, itsbrandy.io, and please sign up. And you can also find us on Twitter at It's Brandy, where I'm also actively sharing our updates, everything that's going on, and building in public there.
Amazing. So yeah, if you're looking to learn how they're building in public, or if you're just looking for passive income, it's brandy.io is the place to go.
Yep.
Thanks again, Rachel. This has been great.
Thank so much for having me. This was fun.
Oh yeah, amazing. Thank you. I'd like to thank our sponsors. We got Nearshore, Unita, and ProdHub.ai. You can build better products with ProdHub.ai, where innovation meets efficiency. Automate your PRDs, fast-track story creation, and speed up your product team with a single platform. It's your co-pilot for product management. Discover how at ProdHub.ai. I'd like to thank you all for listening to us, and if you like what you hear, please smash that subscribe button. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you next time on Founders in LA.